People in developing countries have lesser means to mitigate the impacts of disaster and do not have capacity to respond to climate change and its complications on time. It is against this backdrop that the second National Dialogue Anticipatory Action was organized to find ways of mitigating the diverse effects of climate change. Hilary, Onek, the Minister for Disaster Preparedness, noted that some of the disasters are from mismanagement of the environment.
We don't have a budget as a ministry. We are only given subvention from contingency fund. And most often when a disaster occurs, we have to go to Parliament and request to be allocated money to tackle disaster. So that it's in itself cannot enable you to start planning. If we have specific budget, it will be easier to plan. If we have specific budget, we know which priorities in our operations, and then we budget for it. His Excellency the President asked the Minister of Finance to create for us a sub-budget. Now, the Minister of Finance are saying there is no such a thing as sub-budget. So unless we have to have a full budget, meaning if we have to have our own budget, either we are out of office of the Prime Minister as a separate ministry, and then we would have a budget, and then the manpower, where now we can plan using our allotted budget.
Key stakeholders have emphasized the need for proactive disaster preparedness and anticipatory actions by enhancing early warning systems and putting in place disaster risk financing strategy.
That we must close the gap by having a disaster risk management act. I think that bill should move quickly so that we can have that law, and also the disaster risk reduction plan for Uganda. All those need resources that we should have so that they can be implemented. Talked about the climate change financing, but I must tell you, it is still very low because we failed to create the climate change fund. So we need to rely on our funding from our budget and other development partners.
Implementation of anticipatory actions in disaster-prone areas. We have already had some districts like Kasese and the Katakwi and West Nile implementing anticipatory actions and how they have been helpful as a way of mitigating against disasters.
The second National Dialogue on Anticipatory Action under the theme Navigating Uncertainty, Disaster and Climate Risk Financing calls for developing and enforcing national climate change policy, action plan and the bill. Zahara Abigaba, UBC News.